Hello, good morning, friends. Today we start our class 12th physics syllabus. And first of all, before starting the syllabus, we will have a look at our NCERT book and its contents. So here you can see we have the cover page of our NCERT book. The book has been divided in two parts, part 1 and part 2. Here in part 1, let us see the contents of the syllabus. Okay, so this is our list of chapters in the part 1. The first part deals with the quantity, or you can say entity charge. The whole book is dedicated to this particular entity known as charge. So the first chapter is dedicated to charge and its properties. Introduction means what is charge and how it is developed, and the materials which can exhibit this particular property known as charge. So the materials are divided into conductors and insulators. So all these basic properties of charge we study in first chapter, that is electric charges and field. And this particular chapter and the coming two chapters, first chapter and second, they are known as electrostatics. Electrostatics, as you already know, the statics term means at rest, and this part of this term electro, it refers again to the entity charge. So basically in first two chapters we will be studying what is charge and what are its properties and what are its effects when it is at rest. So coming up to the second chapter, we see electrostatic potential and capacitance. So in this chapter we will see how charge can be stored on particular devices known as capacitors. Here you can see the term capacitor. How charge can be stored to utilize it in the later applications. And coming up to the next page of the content, here you see the third chapter. From here we start studying the properties of charge when it is in motion. When charge is in motion. So when charge is at rest, it exhibits different type of properties, and when charge is in motion, its properties may differ from those in the rest. And due to charge in motion, what are the effects we observe? So that we study in this chapter. And continuing to the effects of the charge in motion, we have this magnetic field. Here you can see the name of the chapter itself is moving charge and magnetism. So in this chapter we will see that when charge is in motion, it induces a magnetic field. So this will be the content of our chapter 4 and chapter 5. So the next page of our contents is this chapter 6. Here we have electromagnetic induction. In this electromagnetic induction, you'll see, as we have already studied, we would have been already studying in the previous chapters, that charge in motion induces magnetic field. So in this chapter we will see that even from the magnetic field, moving charge can be induced. So it means vice versa kind of relation. So after this electromagnetic induction, our next chapter will be alternating current. In short, it is known as AC. So the next chapter deals with the electromagnetic waves. Here you see electromagnetic waves. So these are the 8 chapters in the first part of the book. So if we see the sequence of the events happening in this first part of the book, you will see a very interesting story kind of thing. So what is the story? In the beginning, the charge was at rest, then it starts moving. When it moves, it induces magnetic field, and from magnetic field, while studying magnetic field, you might be getting some clue that from magnetic field also charge can be induced. So here we start studying the vice versa relation between charge and magnetic field. And coming up to the next part of the story, when we get charge out of magnetic field, then we combine both of them and it becomes electromagnetic waves. So this is a kind of story like thing. So here we have charge at rest, then it moves, then it induces magnetic field, then magnetic field induces charge, then we combine both of them and it becomes electromagnetic waves. So the story doesn't end here. In the second part of the book, the story continues. So let us see the remaining part of the story, which is continued from the second part of the book. Here, we have the second part of the book. Here in this book, first chapter you see which is ray optics and optical instruments. By seeing the name, you may not guess that how it is the continuation of the story. But let me tell you that this chapter deals with the optical instruments and ray optics. Ray optics. So you already know from your class 10 syllabus that optics is related to light. So how light is related to the story which we were studying in the first book. So let me tell you that in the last chapter of the first book, we saw that the chapter is electromagnetic waves. In this chapter itself, we'll come to know that light is also an electromagnetic wave. So here we have got the connection between this new chapter, ray optics, with the story which we were following from the first book. So I think you got how these things are related. Now coming to the next chapter, we see it is named as wave optics. So what is this wave optics? So while studying the uh, ray optics, it will be realized that all the phenomena associated with light cannot be explained with this ray optics thing. Ray optics cannot explain all the phenomena observed related to light. So some new theories will be studied in this chapter and they will show us that light may be a wave also. So it means light may have two type of natures. It may behave as a ray or wave, or so means there is some kind of ambiguity in the nature of light. So what is light is not sure up to this chapter. Means ray optics, wave optics. Still there is more to know about light. So our next chapter deals with this problem, and the next chapter is named as dual nature of light. Here you see the name of the chapter is dual nature of light. Let me zoom in. The next chapter says that light has a dual nature. But you see here, no light term is written. Here it is written as radiation. So radiation, light, electromagnetic waves, all are the same things, which we will come to know in last chapter of the first book. That is eighth chapter of the syllabus. Eighth chapter of the syllabus, and its name was electromagnetic waves. So in that chapter, we'll come to know that light, radiation, and electromagnetic waves all are the same thing. So In this dual nature of radiation, we'll come to know light may show different properties in different situations. It may behave like radiation, it may behave like matter also. So when light, that is a wave, can behave like a matter, so it is a natural question that matter may also behave like light. So these things we will be studying in this chapter known as dual nature of radiation and matter. So what next? Is the does the story continue or something else we have to see? So let us see the next page of the contents. Here we have next chapter named as atoms. So how atom is related with all these things? So atom is related with all these things in a way that while studying the dual nature of radiation and matter, certain observations were done, and those observations helped us in knowing the nature of matter. As we know that matter is made up of atoms, so naturally, while studying the matter, we move up to atom. And after studying the atom, obviously we will go deep inside the atom and we will study nucleus in the next chapter. And ultimately, after studying the nucleus, we get into the semiconductor devices, which you can see the modern part of physics. So you can call it modern physics also. In this, we will be studying semiconducting materials and their few applications. So in this way, you have observed that it is like a story of physics. Story of physics. So if you learn to connect all these topics, then you will definitely enjoy it. So need not to worry. I will be there with you. Keep watching and keep following. Have a nice day.